Hello there, my crafty friends. It is Candy here from sweetstamper.com, and I am so happy to be able to share with you here today. It is my second weekly Facebook Live, and it is... Facebook gives you these messages right when you're trying to go live. This is the day that we do simple stamping. So we're going to start with something simple and then we're going to step it up. So I'm glad to see that Kay, Velma, Diane, we've already got some people gathering. And I'm going to get you up on my computer so I can see what you're seeing and I don't end up pulling the camera down and then you can't see where I am. So we get all of the devices going. And I hope you are having a good day as we are now on the second half of the work week. Hey Laura, I'm glad you could join us today. I got a special treat today. I got to go out to lunch with my hubby. So hey Mary, I'm glad you caught me live. I actually had a gift card that my Avon lady had given me. Because I am a good customer and she was doing a really nice thing for me. So anyway, we had a gift card to Carrabba's and we were looking to see if they were even, some restaurants, many restaurants are not doing live serving, but they are doing lunch only. So my husband and I got to break away in the middle of a busy work week and have a little lunch out. So hey, Terry Lynn and Barb is here. So we are gearing up here in San Antonio for my Creative Escape, which is my live retreat, full weekend retreat. And that happens March 4 through 7. And this will be my third one that I've done since the pandemic started. And Drury Inn is where we are hosting it. They've been really good to us. I know the very first time I had one booked, it was due to come up right after the pandemic started, and they ran my event past their legal department. Everything was good. We just have a lot of space. So they ended up giving me double the space that I had originally booked for the same price, and that's because they want us to have 6 feet between tables. And hi, Susie. And then everybody rents, basically when you're at retreat, one of the things that you're doing is you're renting your 6-foot table for the whole weekend. So you can put your stuff out and leave it out and do whatever you want to do. But now we have a 6-foot table between other 6-foot tables. So we have a lot of space. And of course, in the, you've got masks when you're not at your table and things like that. So it's been a really good, it is a creative escape. I've always called it creative escape, but I think particularly now it's our little bubble that people can go and create, but still be within community. So we have not had a single case of COVID after any of our retreats. And most people coming are within kind of a group of people anyway. So they're kind of sitting with their pod of people. But there's a lot that is entailed in getting ready for that weekend. So we are in full swing. It's creative escape. It's also some very much creative pampering. So I like to do all kinds of fun things to just spoil the ladies who come. And, it's interesting. People do all kinds of things at Creative Escape because it's officially Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some people, we give them the option of adding on the Thursday. So mainly people are scrapbooking and card making, but you know what? Some people are, we have a couple of sisters that sometimes are working on handmade rosaries. And we have people who are doing journaling and junk journals and bullet journals and people who make other kinds of jewelry and diamond art, and sometimes people are doing all of those things. And it's fun to just kind of walk through and see from table to table what people are working on. But it is a lot of fun, and we have a lot of repeat people. A lot of people kind of are regulars. They come every time. So we are working on that. So while I am kind of gathering here for a few more minutes, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera down. Susie, you would love Creative Escape Retreat. And we do have people coming from out of state. Sue, who is on here right now, she's in South Carolina and she's flying in. We've got one of our Barbaras is flying, or she's actually taking the train in from California. And so we usually have at least a couple of out-of-state folks who are coming in. Barbara just loves us, and I met her at the event a couple of years ago. Sue comes in, spends the weekend with her sister, and so lots of people come and roll it into a little bit of a family trip as well. So let me bring the camera down and show you where we are going to go for our simple stamping today, and then some stepped up. We're going to step it up. I'm going to show you, hey Gail, I'm glad you're here, and Susan is here, so welcome, welcome. This is where we were on Tuesday. Tuesday is Teach Me Tuesday, and we were working on how to create a scene, and not a like family drama scene, a scene with your stamps. And so we used the donkey, and we used some non-traditional Valentine colors to make kind of whimsical, fun Valentines that I think are pretty much guaranteed to make anybody of any age smile. This one's a little bit more on the masculine side. This one definitely more on the feminine side based on the papers that were used. I'm trying to get a little bit more centered here. And I'm still featuring Sale-a-Bration stamps. So the little donkey stamp set is one of the free options during Sale-a-Bration, free with a $50 order. So the donkeys are a must-have. I think they might be on back order right now. So they have been enormously popular. I think the donkeys are the most popular of the stamp sets. Stampin' Up! Gives us the information as to what else has been, super popular, and the papers have been really popular. So today, for our simple and stepped up stamping, I'm going to use this stamp set, which is free right now during Sale-a-Bration, exclusive celebration offering, free with a $100 order. And you might think, well, boy, that's a lot. But you see, this does have 2 full sleeves of stamps. Now these are photopolymer, which means you can see through them. I love this stamp set because it's a true all occasion stamp set. You have best wishes, thank you, hope, and love, which are really nice little additions. Thinking of you, and hello friend. So this is a great one for just all occasions. And then you have these lovely butterfly and hummingbird images, which you can either color in or you can fill them in with the stamps. So let's see where we're going to go. And I am starting with some colored cardstock, which I'm going to have you guys help me choose. We're going with a pink and purple color palette. So these are going to be our choices for our card base once we get it going. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and mounted the stamps that I'm going to use. Now this is something I actually really recommend that you do when you're creating, is to go in and go ahead and mount your stamp so you're not having to stop and start when you're in the middle of creating. And this is why I have more than one of any particular block. I think this is your D block is probably the most versatile of our blocks. But I like to have several, not just because I run classes, but this is the way I like to create, is to already have my stamps ready so that I'm just ready to start creating. So I knew that I wanted to use the flower image, and I wanted to use the butterfly. And I had already decided I wanted to do a hello friend. So that kind of helped me. If I didn't know ahead of time what I was going to do, I could just go ahead and mount everything at once. And if you happen to have any of these old clamshell cases, this is what we used to store our wood mount stamps in. They're kind of the perfect size for putting your mounted stamps in, and then you're ready to create. So that is kind of a little tip for making your creative session easy and straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I have a piece of cardstock, and I want to say that this is maybe 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. So that is going to be plenty of room to put my flower and my butterfly. So I do recommend for this particular card, I'm going to use my black memento ink, and I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. So let me get my little flower image stamped, and you can always look at your stamp and make sure it's glistening, and then you have enough ink there. And I want to angle my flower so that I have plenty of room for my butterfly. And I'm actually going to move it over a little bit so I have room for my greeting. And we're going to start with just stamps, ink, and paper. I got a little bit of, wonder why that's there. Well, you know what? Our basic white cardstock is thick enough that I can actually just flip that over and be in good shape. Now, one of the things I do like to do to just kind of help my chamois from getting too mucky is if I want to clean my stamp, I like to stamp the excess ink off on some just scrap paper and then clean it here. So I decided to do that because I got a little bit of I don't know if that's a thread or what that is. So I didn't want that on my card. So let's try again here and get our, get the flower done first and see how it's already at that lovely angle where it's already just kind of swaying in the breeze, as it were. That's a much better, yeah, it didn't have, I don't know where that little odd piece came from. So that is done. I'm going to now put my butterfly down. And you see I have plenty of room for my butterfly. And you can actually even do this on a Whisper White note card, or actually now they're called Basic White, because we've changed from Whisper White to Basic White. Not because we didn't love Whisper White, but because due to COVID, our manufacturer shut down. So, these things unfortunately are happening. Hey, Jackie, I'm glad you're joining us. So there's my butterfly. And now I'm going to color these in the quick and easy way. Now, you could go in and use your blends, and it wouldn't take long, and you would have really, really like vibrant, saturated colors. But I did want to have just a soft look. So what I'm going to do is I have chosen colors really based on the, what's it called, Haven Hill, the Haven Hill Suite. It's got the pretty hydrangeas. And I was creating using that paper for my class this month that I'll show you when we get ready to sign off. And I'm just kind of in that mode. I don't know about y'all, do you get in a kick where you're like, okay, I'm kind of just thinking about these colors and they're kind of in my mind, and that's kind of everything I create for the next couple of times I'm creating. Now, let me show you that that is beautifully done. This is purposeful. They've given us a little bit of white space on there, and that is strategic. You didn't mess up and your stamp is not messed up. This gives you a little bit of a watercolor look, and you want to have a little bit of white space. It actually helps the overall look of what you're doing. So that is actually intentional. I'm now going to close that so I don't drop something in it. But you see how quick and easy it is to fill in and color your butterfly. So now I'm going to use the same method, and I'm using Rococo Rose. And this is one of our in colors that will be going away at the end of April. So if you don't have this lovely what I call a dusty pink. You're going to want to get it before you can't. So that is my recommendation, is to start thinking about those things now so that you are not caught. You know, as we approach April, those in colors start selling out, and you can see where I'm trying to just get it just so. The thing about this fill-in stamp is it's designed where it's going to overflow a little bit. So it's very forgiving. It's not meant to be totally in the lines, and that just gives it that nice soft look. So again, that is intentional. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my greeting on a little piece of scrap. But before I do that, I want you to help me decide how we're going to back this. Now, let me just show you. We could put this on Blushing Bride, and it's really lovely. So there's Blushing Bride. I could use a Rococo Rose back, really brings out the color. So this is the same color ink and the same color cardstock. But look what happens if I want to bring out the purples. So here's Purple Posy, which is, oh, this is one of my favorites that's going away. So very, very soft. It's what I call an icy purple. Really, really soft. Or I could go to Highland Heather. Again, picking up the exact color of my butterfly. So I'm going to wait a minute and ask you to weigh in on what I'm going to use there. And while you're weighing in on what my background color should be, let me put these here so you can see them all. I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting so that once we decide on that, okay, ooh, Rococo Rose. Purple Posy. I got 2 votes for Purple Posy and 2 votes for Rococo Rose. So let's see what we can come up with. There are no bad choices. I agree, Jeanette. I think that they're all really nice, and I think one of the things I wanted to show you with that is the versatility of a nice color palette and how our colors work so beautifully together. I tell you, I don't know how Stampin' Up! Does it. How they can get something that just makes such a beautiful, beautiful combinations. So I think we are pretty much down to either the Purple Posy, which brings out the purples, or the Rococo Rose. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Rococo Rose, and I'm doing that because when we step it up, we're going to definitely emphasize the purples. So this card will emphasize the pinks, and the other one will emphasize the purples. So let me get my bone folder and show you how we're going to finish this off. Again, this is a Stamps, Ink, and Paper card. Super easy, super simple. I mean, but look at that. I mean, I think it's just exquisite just as it is. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little piece of colored cardstock to our, I could just stamp it right there. But I thought that, and that's how this can become a note card, and you can just stamp it right there. But I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to just add a little flag, and let's decide which one we're going to use. Probably the Blushing Bride is my guess, because we already have Rococo Rose. So tell me which of these we want to use for our little tag. And then I think I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals just to give it a little bit of a little extra oomph. Now you could easily go in here and you could add Wink of Stella, you could add rhinestones, all kinds of things. But you know, there's a lot to be said for simplicity. So I'm going super, super simple, Stamps, Ink, and Paper. And actually, Stampin' Up! Has a challenge for us going right now. Hashtag challenge. I can't remember what the hashtag is. I'll have to look it up. But it is just stamps, ink, and paper with using something from Sale-a-Bration. So I think that Gail has called it. We're going to use the Blushing Bride. You see how that just adding that little depth using the dimensionals really makes a difference. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring just a little bit of pizzazz here, and I'm just going to flag this just by going to the center and then doing that. Boom. I mean, it does not get any simpler than that. This is a stamp, ink, and paper. We had a black ink pad. We used 2 colors and then 2 colors of cardstock and some white. Super easy, super easy. And I will say as well that because of the size of this, I'm thinking, let's see, how long is this? I think, yeah, you can actually get 5 of these Whisper White panels out of a single piece of basic white cardstock. So that makes it really, really easy on your supplies. You know, some of us make massive amounts of cards for charity purposes. Some of you donate to your church. Some of you donate to Cards for Troops. Some of you donate to all kinds. I know my team, we've done some big hauls for Ronald McDonald House, different things like that. So there's a lot of charities that we oftentimes make cards for. This is a perfect card for that. It's also a great card for a brand new card maker. Very quick and easy, and you really can't make a mistake. So now let's take the same elements and let's see how we can step it up just by changing out some paper and doing a little bit of razzmatazz. Now I need to get my mat back in here, so you know you want to have, I think this piercing mat is the best to use, but if you didn't have this, you know, anything that's kind of soft and squishy gives you a little layer underneath there. I will say when I've been out and about doing a class somewhere and I forgot my mat, I've even used a Stampin' Up! Catalog underneath. So you just want something with a little bit of give. And the reason being, because, you know, when you use our cling mount stamps, they already have a little piece of foam in there, and that gives you the cushion. Well, our clear mount, or not clear mount, our photopolymer stamps don't have that. So we're providing that here, and it just makes so that your stamped images, when you're stamping with photopolymer, come out really, really crisp and clean. So now we're going to, again, start at the bottom with our flower, and then we're going to add the butterfly. And our butterfly is out looking for some nectar. I do think that that pink and purple color scheme is just really soft and really, really pretty. Okay, so let's fill these in once again. And we are using Highland Heather for the butterfly and Rococo Rose. When I first saw Rococo Rose, it reminded me of a color that was really popular when I was in high school, and they called it Dusty Rose. I think that's kind of the perfect description of it. Penny, thank you for being impressed that I can stamp upside down. I will say I've gotten used to it. It works out a lot better for Facebook Live, so I have gotten used to it. And again, that white, you see how that white, you see how it keeps, how it lifts that so that it's not so solid, and it just gives that little bit of, almost like the light coming through. If you saw a butterfly outside, you'd see some little glimmers of light, and so I think that that is what brings that in. So let's color in our flowers, as it were, and then we're going to see what we can do with just some added fancy paper. Elaine, would you mind looking on my embellishment shelf over there and grabbing the one that says pearls? I have one of my assistants here helping me in the studio today. So I forgot to bring an embellishment over here. So now I have the exact same thing. But this time, let's just see what we can do with, adding something else. Now, these are my choices this time for a cardstock background. I want to show you something, and that is something called the Hydrangea Hill Mercury Glass paper. This stuff is just so fun. It is Mercury Glass. That is what it's designed after. And it's super, super shiny, almost like a mirror. But when you put it with the white, you have a high contrast. This piece is Rococo Rose. Now, you look at what happens here when I put my card on that. Look at that wow factor that I just added in. Or I can go with this piece that is Gorgeous Grape, and look at the wow factor when I place my little stamped image. So I go from simple and sweet to glamorous and wow. So this is the way we're going to step up, and I think that because we went with Rococo Rose, I think that we should go with the Gorgeous Grape. However, we could also just go with the white. And look how that just becomes so bright. So we go from soft to really bright to really just vibrant and va va boom wow, which I think is where I'm going to go. So Gorgeous Grape is what we are liking. Now I will give you another tip with this, and that is, you see how it's silver on the other side. So technically you could even use that side if you were so inclined, which I think gives it a lot of extra value. It is more of a matte finish on this side. It's super shiny mirror finish on this side. And when you use your, what do you call it? Your seal adhesive, it doesn't show through, which is kind of interesting because of course with vellum, it really does show through. So let's go ahead, and this is one of those products you look at in the catalog and go, yeah, I don't know. I did include it in my share, my new product share. I gave you a piece of 4x6 from each, the Rococo Rose and the Gorgeous Grape. But that definitely transforms this. Now, to further step it up, I want to add my tag. Instead, this time, I'm going to actually put it on a die cut. And I took the same colors of paper that I had chosen here, and I'm going to use one of them here, but I'm using, this time, I'm using a stitched oval. And I can either go with the Rococo Rose, which is the darker one, or I can go with the Blushing Bride, which is what I did here. But see, here I have all this Rococo Rose, where this one I don't. So that kind of adds an extra piece. So I'll kind of let you guys weigh in on that while I'm putting this down. And yes, it is Gorgeous Grape and Rococo Rose paper. So that's what these two papers are. Great question, Diane. And they are just, Kay, you're right. They're so vibrant. I mean, this is the quick and easy way to really glam up what you're working on. And I just think it's so unusual. Mercury Glass is such a gorgeous, gorgeous element. I know I grew up in the area where we had Mercury Glass Christmas ornaments, and I still think they just have a certain, I don't know, they have an almost like they evoke just, I think almost like a feeling of nostalgia for those of us who grew up in the 50s or 60s. So there, look at how we have stepped that up. And I think that rose is the favorite here. So all I've done is I've just added a piece of the Mercury Glass paper, and I'm adding a die cut. And those are my two little ways to step up. Now I think I am going to add a third little way of stepping up, and that is going to be some pearls. I think maybe we just need to take it one more step. Ooh, that got way too much ink on there, so that was, I had a feeling when I looked at that, I thought, you know what, that's kind of got a splodge of ink there. Too much of a good thing. Oh, I've already done that one, so let's just use that, although it's not very dark. You know what, I think I can get away with the back side of this. It looks pretty good. Oh yeah, that looks better. So I think we're gonna go there. And then I think we are going to add a couple of, you're right, Jeanette, you could just stamp it directly on the card and be done with it. If I hadn't put this down already, I would be inclined to do that because it doesn't add any more color to what I've done. So I think that that would be definitely a good choice. And I typically, when I'm designing, I try to put things down with adhesive last. I get all my stamping done before I start sticking stuff down. And that was kind of a practice I adopted when I first started stamping, and I made so many mistakes, and I'd already glued stuff down, and I had a right mess on my hands. So now let's just see if we can add, I have a few of these are some of the pearls that are part of this suite that are in my little supply here. Oh, you know what? I have them over here in my class because this is actually on back order at present, but these you get in my February class. You're going to get a package of these. These are the pastel pearls is the name of them, the official name, and I think they're really lovely. So I could go with the dark purple. Actually looks really kind of cool there. I think the gray is a little bit too gray. The pink, ooh, that pale pink. This is a pale purple, so let's just kind of play with them a little bit and see what we think. I think they're all really pretty. I don't think any of them would be wrong. I think you're just going to kind of end up with a nice or a nicer. I think that purple I think we're kind of there. I don't know, what do you guys think? So that, I think, really takes it. If I were going to add something super simple here, I could even add just a plain white. Could add just plain white pearls, just our classic ones that we have in the annual catalog. I could even do something like this, just the white on white. So let's just try, if you happen to have plain white pearls on hand, this would be a way to utilize those. And these are small, these are much larger. When you get these pastel pearls, I'm trying to remember, I think they're all, yeah, I think they're all this size. Where when you get the regular traditional white pearls, I think you get large and medium and small, but small is all I have left. So that is our very decidedly feminine cards. We went from simple and then we stepped up with really, more than anything, the addition of a simple die cut here. And then we also added the really, really glamorous Hydrangea Hill. I think that's what it's called, Hydrangea Hill Mercury Glass paper. I hope I'm still here. It looks like on my computer it took my video away. Am I still here? Let me just see if it bumped me off. I lost myself all of a sudden. So let me just tidy up a little bit while we are weighing in there and see what you are thinking about today's creations. We went from super simple to stepped up, and we used free stamps that are totally free during Sale-a-Bration. These are free through the end of February only. So make sure that you are setting yourself up to get the things that you want by the end of February, because in previous years we had until the end of March. This year Sale-a-Bration is only 2 months. I do have a host code here, and when you make your purchase with my host code, you do get gifts. You get gifts for any size order, but you get, of course, the larger your order, the larger your thank you gifts are. And Yolanda, I think that this butterfly really is just excellent. And Gail, you're glad to see how the Mercury Glass looks. And you are so very welcome. Before I love you and leave you, let me just do a quick run through my class for my February Cards with a Twist class. Is open for registration, and this is kind of what was inspiring me, my color scheme for today. With this class, it's a $35 class. You get a half pack of the gorgeous Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper, and then you get a full sheet of the what's it called? Ooh, not pretty. A full sheet of the pearlescent paper, and I cut it in half for mailing. I'm going to teach you how to use this, how to add ink to it, because you don't just stamp it. There's some properties to it because it is glossy and your ink wants to smudge all over it. So I'm going to teach you some ways, a couple of different ways to add ink to this. And I used this spring catalog bundle. If you wanted to do the class without these stamps, you can use the stamps you have at home, but I do think Vine Design is worthy of adding to your collection. I love, love, love this font. And these are the gorgeous dies that go with this bundle. And so let me show you. So we're going to be using the dies like this and like this. And this is that pearlescent paper. So I'm going to show you how to color it. Here we used it raw, and here I used it raw. So this is my Cards with a Twist class. I give you 2 each of 4 designs with a twist. So the twist on this one was just flipping the paper over. This one was 2 different papers, and I did put a layer of Gorgeous Grape behind that one. And let's see, the other cards for this class. So here is, again, I just turned the paper over, and you do get a pack of these gorgeous pastel pearls with this. You get all of your die cuts, everything ready where you can just stamp and assemble once you get your pack. So you do get 8 envelopes and all the supplies prepped and ready to make these 8 cards. You do get a package of these pearls, and you're also going to get 3 sponge daubers. I don't know if you've used sponge daubers very much. These actually come in a pack of 5. I'm going to give you 3 with this class because we're going to use 3 different colors to add ink to our pearlescent paper. So that is, it comes with the PDF tutorial, and it comes with a video to give you some tips and tricks on how to use the pearlescent paper and how to stamp and assemble your cards for success. So again, that's my $35 class for February. That does include shipping. If you'd like to add on the bundle, I give you a little price break, and you can even add the inks if you don't already have them. So, and I have one more thing. If you are interested in that class, you can just go to sweetstamper.com, or you can go click on this link. It's conta, conta.cc/3R9 uppercase PPD4. So that is my quick link to get you to all the information about my Vine Design Class with a Twist card class by mail. Again, your $35 does include shipping to you. This is a class by mail. There is no live class component to this. So you can do this in the safety and the convenience of your own home. So that is my simple and stepped up stamping for today. I hope you had a good time. I love to hear your input as we do a little bit of virtual designing together. I think it's so much fun. And I thank you for watching. If you joined us late, be sure to, I'm getting ready to jump off, and be sure to rewind once this posts, and that will happen very, very quickly here. So I will see you on Tuesday for Teach Me Tuesday. In the meantime, take care. God bless, and remember, you can catch all of this and my classes at sweetstamper.com. Thank you so much. Bye.